This is the Grosvenor Hall Dolls House, and as you can see we've got some really lovely Georgian details on this house with the very balanced and well proportioned design. We've got some great little architectural details as well which lend it to the Palladian architectural style. So we've got things like, if you notice here, we've got these lovely archways on the windows, repeated on both sides and again mirrored on the top here. There's the frieze across the middle, which is also repeated at the roof level into the attic, and these wonderful Ionic columns which are so typical of the Palladian architectural style.
It's very grand. Are these windows the ones that actually come with it, because they're different to all the other houses?
Yep, they are. These are working sash windows on the first floor and the ground floor, so they actually open and close. You can have obviously this one opens out and comes out onto the balcony, so creates a very grand entrance up the long tree-lined sweeping drive as your visitors come up to your very stately country residence, if you like. And obviously those columns are then repeated down here as well. And you've got the acorn finials up at the top, just adding another touch of detail with the frieze along here and the little round window in the middle.
There's an amazing amount of detail. Do all the floral decorations and window boxes come with it?
Well, the exterior decoration that you see here, so the things like the topiary trees, the window boxes, we've dressed this doll's house so that obviously because it's in our shop, if it was a little bit bare it wouldn't be quite as enticing. So we've added those bits and they're available to purchase for anybody who wants to add them themselves. But the actual bits and pieces in the kit that you get with it, you would get all the columns, all the balustrade that you see across here, the doors, the balustrade across the front of the basement here if you went for the basement kit as well. So all those actual architectural details are included. As you can see, the architectural accuracy that you can see on the exterior of the house continues on the inside here. This house does come with all these internal doors, so you get these stunning features such as the scrolling pediments, which are on both sides of the door, so there's no expense spared. On the right hand side here we've got a single doorway, and on the left hand side there's a grand double door into the main reception area. Then you follow these lovely stairs up, which as you can see they've actually got a turned landing on them, so you've got a little half landing there which adds to the detail. And you come up through onto the first floor, again with these lovely doors, and you'll also notice that in each of the rooms here we've actually got a chimney breast, which is quite an interesting feature. It doesn't always happen in dolls' houses, but just adds again to the authentic detail. And coming back up the stairs with the lovely balustrade, which is all included in the kit. So you get your newel post, your spindles, your handrail.
The wood's fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you went for the quick style, that would all be varnished for you, so you get that colour as you see it there. And all the way up into the loft, which still gives us two great rooms with lots of space, thanks to this lovely steep pitch. There's a great spot for where your chambermaids and your servants live. So we've got some clever little details in there. As you get into the loft, the doors don't have this scrolling pediment because they wouldn't be part of the main house. They'd be out of sight, so to speak, so they wouldn't have bothered with the details in there.
What about these lights? There's quite a variety there. Does any of that come with the kit?
Lighting doesn't come with the kit, but we do have lighting sets available. There's two main types, one which works with what we call the copper tape method, and
okay.
one don't panic, I'll explain, and one which works with a socket strip method. The number of lights that you see in this house here would be the number of lights you'd get in a lighting set if you chose to purchase one. I can't guarantee that they would be these lights because these have been chosen for the display purposes. So going back to the two methods that you can use to light the house, the copper tape method. The copper tape is a very flat tape that actually sticks to the back of the house, and you create a circuit from it. And then you take the wires out, either up through the ceilings or out the back of the walls, such as on the wall lights here, and then fix that onto the copper tape. That gives you a very sleek, slick and clean look, because you don't have any wires showing, everything's hidden away.
There's not actually that much to do either then, by the sound of it.
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, again, there are clear instructions. There is a masterclass again online for that one as well. So, you know, there is plenty of advice out there for everybody. The other method is the socket strip method, where you would actually pass the wire through the house and out through either a hole in the wall, or you may run it up again through the ceiling and across the floor and out the back of the house. And then you just reattach the plug and plug it into the socket strip. That one gives you more flexibility because you can actually have the lights on individually as you want them to be on. Whereas with the copper tape, they're all on together.
That sounds more straightforward than copper tape. So if I went for the quick style option that you've been talking about, you said we get the doors and the wood and so on. What other decoration do you get? How far would I have to get into it?
Well, all the bits that you see painted, so this panel here on the ceilings, your trims across the floors and the walls painted. The inside of this panel is ready done for you, as are the interior of these external panels, as we mentioned before. Your windows and doors painted in the white, your staircase is already varnished, but then the wallpaper and the rest of it is left down to yourself to choose the bits and pieces that you want. So obviously you can then create your own interior design. We've had lots of people who've created the Dolls House as a modern boutique hotel, which is almost what it is in this one, and others who've stuck strictly to the Georgian era and recreated a full Georgian doll's house with all those intricate details that go along with that. Obviously, you know, we've decorated it for a wedding reception on this one, but people can do whatever they choose.
I can see the appeal of the Georgian one, but I think it'd be a more modern setting for me. But what about the basement? Is that all part of it?
The basement is available as a separate kit. If you went for the quick style, I seem to think that's where you tend to be leaning towards. The quick style is available in the same colours that you see it here, so it does match the house. And obviously all the bits that are painted white arrive white, all the bits that are painted in cream arrive in the cream as well. And you do get a lot of extra rooms in the basement, so it's a little bit conceiving about how big the space actually is. But we can have a look at that later on.
Yeah.
With the basement, as I mentioned, all the bits and pieces are obviously, in the quick style, are obviously already painted for you. The bare kit would allow you to dress it in different colours if you'd already chosen to do that with the house. And you get the architectural details repeated. So the balustrade that we've seen on the balcony on the main house is repeated here, the ionic columns, and then a little secret passageway here, which could be great fun for doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things with your dolls. There is a bit of a knack to getting into this basement, so if you give me a second, I'll just show you how that works. So I have to lift here.
Oh, I thought it was swing open.
Aha. It does actually do that as well.
Oh wow, look at that. Goodness me.
Going back to the architectural details that we've seen above, you've got the scroll pediments again on the doorways. We've set this as a hotel kitchen, so you've got two big kitchen spaces. At the back there's a doorway going up to where the fake stairs are. So that's your doorway up to the main house, if you like.
Or for the servants, then, if you're doing the Georgian version.
We appear to have a dolly who's a little bit tipsy down there at the moment. But we've got a butler's pantry here. And there's a further 2 rooms at the back of these as well. So you've got a really big, useful space to create what you want.
But it's very flexible, isn't it? So if you'd have servants' quarters and everything.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
yeah. As we talked about the Georgian period with the main house, if you wanted to reflect that here, then this would be your servants' quarters. It'd be your upstairs, downstairs, or your Downton Abbey area.
I think the basement could persuade me towards a historical, having seen it.
It's still got the great room proportions. You've got the height there, the width. It really does add a real air of grandeur to the house.
It would take some planning out, wouldn't it?
It would, but there's a lot of house to have some fun with and to
So I want 12 rooms in the house. And so how many in the basement? 6? 5?
There's another 5 in there. There's 8 rooms and then the stairwells. So if you wanted to count those as rooms, yes, you've got a full 12 rooms in the house as well.
Fantastic.